Today's episode of Mark 42's WHOniverse is brought to you by Audible.com. You get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/Mark42. There are over 150,000 titles to choose from your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. You lucky guys. That's www.audibletrial.com/Marku42. And now, here's the show.
This is Ingrid Oliver, aka Osgood, and you're listening to Mark Who 42.
Mark Who 42 WHOniverse.
Welcome to Mark Who 42's WHOniverse, Doctor Who WHOniverse, that is. I'm your host, Mark-Baumgarten, and with me, as always, are...
Trish-Helm. Wait a minute, wait a second. I'm a little confused here. What just happened? Your eyebrows just flashed in front of me. What was that? Folks,
I see what you did there.
I see what I did there. I'm Mark Baumgarten. Welcome to our show. And Trish, thank you very much. Who else do we have on the show? Oh, God.
And I am Necron, Lord of the Undead and leader of the Black Lantern Corps. Oh, I'm sorry. Eduardo-m-Freyre. I'm sorry. That's a different Army of the Dead.
Yeah,
sorry.
Different Army of the Dead.
Sorry, different Army of the Dead.
And I'm Christian-basel. The only one of these people hosting this show hasn't changed his gender or anything else about him yet, so we're good.
Not for lack of trying, but if I remember correctly, you try that again, the police are going to give you 15 years.
You know, I think we better get out of this topic and go directly to...
Let's go directly to Doctor Who News with our Doctor Who correspondent, Patricia-Helm. Or is that Missy? Or is that... I don't know. It's somebody.
So our first news story
You can
comes
call me Mistress. Go right ahead. Call me Mistress.
My.
All three of you. Yeah. Get down on your knees when you say it, too.
Hello there.
Yes, Mistress.
For the family show portion of this.
Okay.
Well, this is reminding me of my time in college.
Mistress, may I listen to you do the news?
Yes.
Thank
yes,
you.
you may. Okay. So we got the ratings in for Forest of the Night. Their final number was 6.92 million. Pretty good.
Wow, that's not bad.
Now for Darkwater, the final number for that was 7.34 million, so up a bit from In the Forest of the Night. And then the overnight figures from Death in Heaven are 5.45 million. They haven't had a final number yet, but their AI was 83.
83. Okay. So 80% of the people liked it. Or,
yes.
I was going to say, like 2 million people just walked out or just forgot to turn on the TV or went to a friend's house that
Well, no, the overnight for Darkwater is 5.27 million, so
yeah,
the overnight was a little bit higher.
It went higher. Well, yeah, it had to go higher with that cliffhanger.
Yes, no kidding.
Wow.
Now,
that's all I can say. Wow.
Now, the BBC actually got several complaints about Darkwater.
Yeah, I heard about this.
You heard about that? Yeah.
All I can say is you people have nothing better to do than complain about this.
Well, they were complaining about the themes of death and cremation.
Well,
it's like, did you watch it till the end of the show?
Yeah.
Did you find out that it wasn't really death and all that stuff? It was all a master's plan.
I mean, it was really death. I mean, the people whose brains were in the Matrix were really dead. But, they were connected only because of the Matrix, and it's not real life. This is Doctor Who, folks. It's not real life.
Exactly.
Although I will say this, I find them less annoying than some of the people who write the goofs section on IMDb.
I'm sorry, but, in this frame, the tie was solid red, and then, it cuts back, and then when it cuts back, it's red with stripes.
Oh, that's just bad, folks. A striped red tie.
From different angles, his hand changes. It's either on his forehead or it's on his cheek.
Good God! It's like, did you even watch the program? Did you, or were you just paying more attention for screw-ups?
So they complained. Well, I wonder, did they complain about Death in Heaven? I mean, there's enough to complain about there. There's more things to complain about.
Yes, Mistress. Can we have another, please?
Yes.
Another news article.
Another news article, Mistress.
Please.
I don't know if I want Christian saying the word mistress.
On November 24th, they're releasing in the UK, and on December 2nd, here in the US, they're releasing a double CD soundtrack for The Day of the Doctor and The Time of the Doctor.
Oh, okay. A year late.
Yes.
A year late.
Yeah. And so far, it's only available in the MP3 form on Amazon for the US.
Oh.
In the UK Amazon, you can actually get the physical CD.
Okay, so it's downloaded.
I don't know.
In the United States.
For now.
So which track is entitled Eyebrows?
I don't know, but that would be a good one. Did you guys hear that Doctor Who has been nominated for a People's Choice Award?
I voted.
I did too. It is up in the category of Best Cable Sci-Fi Fantasy Show.
Uh-huh.
But it has some very strong competition.
It did.
Because it's up against Outlander, American Horror Story, The Walking Dead, and Game of Thrones.
I
Hell.
think it has a problem with maybe Game of Thrones, but I think everything else, I think Doctor Who has it beat.
Yeah, well, especially if the episode that Game of Thrones submits for the People's Choice Awards is The Purple Wedding, then
Well, no. It's
dead.
It's dead. This voting thing, it's fan favorites, so it's basically the nominees are up there, and you just go to the site and click.
Yep.
That's all you have to do. It's
okay,
not a
all right, that's
episode.
fine. That's fine. Okay, all right, that makes me feel a little better, but still, Game of Thrones Season 4, we had What Happened to Joffrey, we had The Battle on the Wall.
Well, if
And-
you know how to do it, you do it twice.
And also, David Tennant is nominated for Best Actor for Grace Point.
Yes, I saw that.
And
I voted
also
for
Grace Point's also nominated for Best New Show.
that. I didn't vote for it for Best New Show, but I did vote David Tennant.
Yeah.
Best New Show did not get Grace Point. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I say instead of voting online like they do, we have like an Anchorman scene where all the anchor people are coming out. Instead, we have the fandoms come out there with their own weapons and come out there, and whoever is the last person standing, that's the winner of the People's Choice.
So on this voting thing, did they have under Best New Comedy Selfie?
I don't think so. I didn't
would
go that
hope
far
not.
into the
I
website.
would hope not.
Yeah.
This has been canceled. Yes, folks. Selfie has been canceled.
And they said that they were going to let it do its 13-episode run that they had filmed. However, there's a asterisk by that because the time slot that Selfie airs is where they usually, 8 o'clock Tuesday, is usually where they stick the Christmas specials.
Yes,
So they're saying that they might let Selfie run its course. They might not.
It brings up an interesting thought. Snoopy could kill Selfie.
Red Baron, go get her.
Curse ye, Red Baron.
Yes, we could do Selfie, but it's the Charlie Brown Christmas.
Should I move on?
Yes.
Yes, mistress. Please.
Affirmative, mistress.
And in the season finale of Selfie, John Cho comes out there with a blanket and goes, "Lights, please."
Did you guys hear that the DVD Blu-ray box set of the completed season is being delayed a whole week in the UK? That's because they changed the rating on the series finale. No, the series finale. Yeah, they changed it from PG to a 12. I don't know what that is. I guess that must be PG-13.
It's like a PG-13.
Yeah, so they have to
Except
reprint.
it's younger because they're more mature in England.
True over there, yeah. So that means they have to reprint all the covers, all the DVDs. Yeah.
Well,
Moffat, you just ruined their budget.
they're more mature.
Now hold on.
More mature over in Britain?
Yeah.
So it's like dog years. If they're like 1 year old over here, they're 12-year-old over there. Is that how it works?
Hey, they just have a je ne sais quoi over there. I don't know. Maybe it's because they're so close to France. They have a je ne sais quoi.
But now here's the thing. Does that mean the U.S. release gets delayed as well? Or
No, I don't think so.
We're still
I
on
think
track.
the U.S. one comes out on time.
Oh, we're not mature enough, so we don't have to change our rating here.
Yeah, we can have NR or whatever they want to call it. I don't know. Any more news, mistress?
No, there's no more news, but there are some birthdays coming up.
I love birthdays. Oh, yeah, birthdays. Go. Whose birthday is it?
Well, on November 14th, it is Paul McGonn's, the Eighth Doctor.
Yeah.
And Russell Tovey, who played Alonzo Frame.
Is John Barrowman going to go to his birthday party?
Only if they're in the cantina.
Coming in with only wearing a bow.
So if they have his birthday in the cantina, does that mean the walrus guy will start bothering Alonzo, and then this ugly guy will come over and go, "He doesn't like you."
I don't like you either, Ed. No, so it's Russell and Paul McGann's birthday this coming week.
And then on the 15th is Jessica Hines, who played Joan Redfern in Family of Blood, and then her granddaughter, or great-granddaughter, or whatever it is, on Verity Newman in The End of Time. Yeah, her descendant, let's just say that.
There you go.
And then finally, on November 18th, it's Steven Moffat's birthday.
Ooh. Happy
for that
birthday to you, Mr. President. All right, never mind. Oh, God. Stephen Moffat, that's why it was his birthday on the episode, because Stephen was referencing himself again. So is that all the birthdays and news we have?
That is it.
Okay, then when we come back, have we got a show for you? We've got Dark Water, Death in Heaven, two great, or were they great? We'll find out. Great, but in my opinion, great episodes here on Mark Who 42. We'll review them in just a moment. We'll be right back.
Thank you, Mistress.
Ah, brave new world that has such putzes in it.
The Pull Bag is GCRN's comic book review and discussion-based podcast. Join me, your host, TFG and Mike, and the rest of the GCRN crew as we make our way through the comics we are reading. Inside the Pull Bag, you'll also find back-issue classics and origins episodes of how we got into comic reading. You can find the Pull Bag every Wednesday on iTunes and on www.geekcastradio.com. Make your great escape into comics and jump into the Pull Bag today.
Oh, yes, but think of the fun.
Pixels in the Animation is the Geekcast Radio Network's video game cartoon review show. We are covering every episode of 9 different video game cartoons. Join TV's Mr. Neil and myself, TFG and Mike, as we trek through multiple Mario tunes, Zelda, Captain N, Mega Man, Sonic, and we are also driving through Donkey Kong Country. Pixels in the Animation is 100 episodes of video game cartoon goodness, so tune in to help us find the Pixels in the Animation, which you can find every Wednesday on iTunes and www.geekcastradio.com.
Hi, I'm Daphne Ashbrook, and you are listening to Mark Who 42.
Welcome back to Mark Who 42's WHOniverse, Doctor Who WHOniverse, that is. I'm your host, Missy. With me, as always, are Trish Helm, Eduardo-m-Freyre, and Christian-basel. You're listening to us on Krypton Radio. Okay, and now let's start our show off today, the review portion of our show, with Dark Water. Dark Water was on just a week and a half ago, and I enjoyed it immensely. What did you guys think of Dark Water?
It was a good setup, but the thing is that I accidentally went on Facebook before the show came on, and I just totally forgot not to. And I got the big reveal blown for me. It was someone posted this big, huge spoiler right on my timeline, and I was like, oh. So it's like, I'm wondering how I would have reacted to the big reveal if I had known.
And it was a big reveal. It really was a big reveal, but at the same time it wasn't. I mean, we thought it was the Master from Deep Breath, and then it was like, I categorically deny that the Master will appear in this season of Doctor Who. My name is Steven
Moffat. Liar.
And so we came up with other ideas, and that's why I came up with Idris, and we came up with Arani, and we came up with different ideas, because we were told, oh, the Master's not in it. We are idiots. We are idiots. We're like the Doctor. We're idiots with a box. We are idiots with a box and a screwdriver, and we totally believed it when he said the Master wasn't coming back. So we came up with different ideas, and we were wrong.
Mark?
Yes?
This is the thing, though. Moffat didn't lie. The Master didn't come back.
The Master didn't come back?
Instead, we had Missy, or Mistress. So, to quote Alec Guinness, what he said was true from a certain point of view.
Oh, I hate that excuse.
I don't go for that excuse. I call that a lie.
I didn't say,
cop-out.
you know, yeah, I didn't say I like that excuse either, but if you want to play Moffat's mind games, then that's what you use. Now, as for my feelings on the episode itself, I think Trish has the right buzzword, setup. See, this is my impression of the episode. Oh no, Danny's dead! Set up. He's back, and he's a girl! To be continued. That's my impression of the episode. It was just a giant ball of setup. I remember looking at the clock and seeing that there was like 15 minutes left in the episode and going, wait, seriously? Only 15 minutes? What?
Yeah, it's like, what's happened?
Huh?
What has really happened in this episode? You know, it's like...
Well, what did happen? Danny Pink is having a discussion on the phone with Clara. And it's a discussion he should never have had because he's paying so much attention to it that he walks right into traffic and gets hit by a car. And
it happens to anybody.
It could happen to anybody. And just like she says, it's boring. It's a normal function of life. Someone walking in front of a car. And, you know, that's not what anyone deserves. She thinks she deserves something better than that, doesn't she?
Yeah. And that whole scene, I was like, Doctor, push her into the lava.
Yeah, push her into the lava. I like that.
I'm like, do it when she's not looking, when she goes to throw a key. Run over there and grab a key and toss her in.
I have mixed feelings about that scene, and I'm sorry, but I think that was one little ditty that I could not let go because she's throwing the keys in the lava, and I'm just thinking to myself, I'm waiting for her to throw the seventh key in and have a Malcolm Tucker moment, and the Doctor get up and just snap his fingers and the doors open and said, I don't need that to open the doors. I'm like, what happened to the finger snaps? What's with these 7 keys and all that? Where did that come from?
Did you notice that one of the keys was in the book, The Time Traveler's Wife?
Oh, was it? I didn't realize what book
I didn't even notice that.
I totally went back and checked that.
Oh.
I thought it was Time Machine.
No, it was Time Traveler's Wife.
But to go back to what you were saying, Ed, you said it was a big lead-up. I'm not even just thinking about that episode. I'm thinking about all 11 episodes before that. It's almost like you're waiting in line for a new ride at Disney for 3 to 4 hours, and then you ride it for about a minute and a half, and you go, really? This was it? This is the lead-up? And it just went up and down, and that's it? That was the end of the ride? Oh, boy. I mean, the whole season.
Clara's moment there where she goes, I'm owed, and she just flips out on the Doctor. That, for me, it goes back to what I was saying. You know, the thing about Danny is it feels like he's been so underused. Yeah. And for me, I just feel one of the things that kind of kills the moment is we really haven't had Danny as a big part of the season.
Right.
You know, if he had actually traveled on the TARDIS, if he'd actually gone and seen some of the stuff Clara had seen with the Doctor, then I could understand where this anger and this, you know, it was so ordinary. She loved him. Ordinary love. I understand, but again, it's like that moment could have been so much better if he had actually been a more active part of the proceedings. Then it would kind of make more sense that, you know, part of her anger is that since he's been exposed to this world that she's been a part of, this is not how people who have that sort of experience die.
Did you feel the love between them throughout the season? I mean, was it strong enough to warrant what was going to happen in the finale?
Well, you know, the fact that she was lying to him for, I would guess, months. It had to be at least 3 months. We'll get to that later. Had to be at least 3 months.
I'm glad that they didn't show all these touchy-feely moments with both of them because I couldn't care less. I want to watch The Doctor. I want to watch Doctor Who, but unfortunately, she spent so much time with the Doctor that I was left wondering, when did she have time to spend with Danny? It always seems like she's always with the Doctor, and I don't know.
To answer your question, Christian, I would say there was probably more on Danny's side than on Clara's.
But in what way? The only time I ever saw like a real emotion or real mention of it was the caretaker when she says, I love him. But beyond that, I just saw them as still dating. I didn't see where they finally got into that Amy Rory love.
If he had traveled on the TARDIS with them, even one episode, and they showed more of their interaction together, maybe it would have been more believable.
Maybe he volunteers to leave later on because like I can't be with this life, but we see a little bit of their relationship, not too much, but just enough, like we saw in Asylum of the Dalek when, you know, Amy just says, I can't bear you children, but I mean, we saw that emotion, we saw that strength. We knew why they couldn't be together at that moment in Amy's mind, but Rory stood up and said, no, we can be together. This is not the reason why I love you. This is not the reason I want to be with you. And the whole series, I could not see that between Clara and Danny. I just didn't.
Wait a minute. You have to also remember the way that he dies. What about Orson Pink? Isn't Orson Pink supposed to be their kid? I mean,
she's pregnant.
Or she's pregnant. There was hold on.
She's pregnant because
There was a,
spoiler alert.
There was a post-it
Whether
that
you want one or
said
not.
3 months. When
Yeah.
she was looking at all the post-its, there was a post-it that said 3 months, and that's why I said they must have been together for at least 3 months, because
Do you want to hear
I think she's 3 months pregnant.
Do you want to hear one of my theories?
Oh yes, mistress.
When the doctor, remember after she has her moment, where it turns out to be all suggestion by the doctor, to see what she would have done if that sleep patch had worked on him. After he woke her back up, he scanned her with the sonic screwdriver and says, "Well, you're just a mass of chemicals." And I'm like, it's like, oh, is she pregnant? And he knows now that she's pregnant, and that's why he all of a sudden is like, yeah, I'm going to try to help you find Danny.
Yeah.
Because if she's pregnant, wants to find the father.
That's good.
That moment, though, when he's like, yeah, let's go find Danny. Let's go breach the walls of the afterlife. That, to me, I was like, what a difference a doctor makes, because I couldn't help but feel if this were any other doctor, she probably would have been booted out the door, probably in mid-flight. Like, if this had been Eccleston, that go to hell would have been a lot more raw, and he would have just been like, yeah, go to hell, get out. I trusted you, and I'm sorry that your boyfriend's dead, but you're human. That's what you do. And, you betrayed my trust. He would have just kicked her out. Hartnell would have kicked her out. Six would have kicked her out, and he would have yelled his lungs out.
Matt Smith wouldn't, and I think that was the reason why Peter Capaldi didn't, because he's trying to have the emotions of Matt Smith, even though they're completely alien to him and don't work. But you can see Capaldi; he's trying to be Matt Smith in ways, and he can't. His doctor just can't do it.
No, I see him trying to have a relationship with Clara, but Clara makes it almost impossible for him to have it. And the Sixth Doctor, I think, would have strangled her right then and there and threw her into the lava pit. But to me, it also disembowels. Now, he's not the only Doctor. Think about Tennant. No second chances. I'm that sort of man. Yeah, she would have been tossed out of the TARDIS in mid-flight somewhere. So I just don't – I see his doctor being somewhat of a detachment, and I appreciate that he's trying so hard to make his doctor separate from the other 12 or 14 or whatever we got out there. But I'm also seeing a detachment from the history of him has been.
But you know what? I think if you go with Trish's conclusion that when he used the scanner and said that she was a mass of chemicals, I do think that's why he didn't kick her out. I do think you're right, Trish. I think your idea makes a lot of sense.
I was still totally ticked off at her.
Well, I was on my anti-Claren, so I didn't even know she was in the scene.
It's like, okay, she jumped into the doctor's time stream. She has seen everything. She knows everything he's done.
Yeah.
All the worlds he's saved, all the people he's saved.
Yeah.
And she was just going to stop him and kill him and keep him from getting in his TARDIS or whatever and stop him from helping all these other people just because she's upset that Danny got killed. I don't know. To me, it was just like...
Clara's just a bad companion.
Yes.
I'm glad, and I can't say I'm glad she's gone because we know she's not gone yet. So they're going to go to hell to find Danny. And we got the 3W. And right away, the logo so was the Cyberman eye. I did not miss that. The second I saw it, I'm like, oh, there we go, Cyberman. But it was pretty cool. Missy was disguising herself as a protocol droid. And she says that she repairs herself. And she goes, the doctor holds my heart. And then Doctor Who. I thought that was a cute wordplay. I like Michelle Gomez. I think she made an excellent Missy, a.k.a. Master.
What did you think of the kiss?
Oh, it was tongue. That was tongue. That was tongue.
God, that was just
tongue.
That was probably more Michelle trying to, kiss Capaldi and said, I'm going to slip that in there right there.
Well, I saw this story she said where she said kissing Peter Capaldi was hell, but she said that was only because she didn't get to go as far as she wanted to.
Oh my!
Oh no! Oh, yeah. All I gotta say is after that kiss, and then when she tried to do the same to Clara, when we got the reveal, I thought back to the kiss. I just lost it. And then in my head, what was playing was, do you know all there is to know about the crying game?
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, not to mention that I'm picturing all the weird people on the internet, and the people who do the weird freaky fan art on DeviantArt, that they're just going, yes, I have permission now.
They're
just running
There's always slash fiction between the Doctor and the Master. The John Pertwee, Roger Delgado master.
But Mark, were you thinking like me when, being part of the classic series and seeing all that I just had that spur of the moment of Pertwee, lip-locking Delgado and Davison doing a mouth hug with Ainley, and it was, I can't get that out of my mind.
I didn't picture that. I didn't go that far.
Oh.
Not to mention, all the slash fic writers are probably now also doing Missy Clara.
The slash fiction is out of business now because it's normal everyday fiction.
Like the package.
Fan fiction, just plain fan fiction now.
Now, Steven-Moffat, he actually talked about the Master's gender change.
Oh, Birthday Boy had something to say?
Yeah.
What did Birthday Boy have to say?
That's what he had to say. He said it's just a proper good old twist. We've been saying for years now, certainly since I took over, that regeneration can change your gender, and that I thought is maybe the one they won't see coming. And I'm like, okay, you say the one you won't see coming. People have been speculating she was the Master since we first saw her.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, Moffat, you didn't fool anybody as much as you like to think that you did.
But he lied to us to get us off the target.
Well, I know, but if you have to lie about it, it's not something that someone didn't see coming.
Not to mention the fact that Abrams with Star Trek Into Darkness tried to do that, and, well, we see how well that worked.
Yes, everyone knew it was con.
Everyone knew.
Well,
everyone knew.
I have one thing to say.
Uh-huh.
I got it right.
What? What'd you get right?
The Matrix. I knew it was the Matrix. Heaven was the Matrix. I knew the Promised Land was the Matrix.
I was the one who said that. I said that the Promised Land was not a real environment, but some sort of artificially created environment.
Right, but I tied it in with the Matrix.
Okay, well, we were both right. And by the way, it wasn't the Matrix itself so much as a piece of the Matrix, a data slice.
Of course. That's what I said. The whole Matrix is on Gallifrey. I said that.
Mistress, you want to take care of this argument, please?
Boys.
Thank you.
But no, I mean, do I get a little bit of credit for saying that I thought that she was a renegade time lady?
Yeah.
I mean,
we should give her that. Yeah.
Did I get partial credit for that?
Yeah.
Because I foolishly believed Moffat when he said that the Master wouldn't be coming back.
Sure.
So that's why I didn't say it was the Master.
I had to come up with a different answer, so that's why I said Idris.
Yeah.
Because you said it was a female time lady, so I had to go, okay, so what could I pick? I've only got a few things to pick from. I'll pick Idris.
But you're saying nobody ever had this lead up, and the thing is that Moffat already wrote it. We called it The Curse of Fatal Death.
Yeah.
I mean, he already did it once.
Yeah.
I mean, he just slid it over to the series and did it again.
Jonathan Pryce with the Dalek bumps.
Derek beam locators.
Okay.
But no, having a female Master, this feels like Moffat just saying, okay, well, while we don't have a female Doctor, let's do a Time Lord gender swap. Let's officially have that on screen, see what happens. This was Moffat testing the waters, really.
See, you could put it in another way that it was being bad to the LGBT community because they were saying only evil Time Lords that are crazy can change their gender. Okay. I read this online.
Really?
I read this online somewhere this week that someone was complaining about the fact that because it was the Master changing and not the Doctor, that it put a bad light on it.
I thought I read that somewhere. It was like in one of the novels or audios back in the 80s that was said, but it was way back then.
Well, there was someone on one of the sites this week wrote, I think it was on Blastar. I think it was on the Sci-Fi Channel's Blastar. The good, the bad, and the ugly of the Master being the Mistress. And the ugly was the part about that only the evil could do that, and that it would give bad publicity. And I just want to say that's hogwash. The Doctor can change. The Doctor may change.
It happened before with the Idris episode. Remember, they were speaking. What was that? The Time Lord who switched sex?
Well, right.
Corsair.
The Corsair. They mentioned that, and
Yeah.
I don't think he was considered evil.
Christian, I think the difference between that is that's just a mention. That's just a throwaway line.
Yeah, this
Whereas
was
this was actually like definitively saying that it's possible. So there's a difference.
No, but you can't disavow that. It's already in the story somewhere.
Well, yeah, it is in the story, but again, there's one thing when you have a throwaway line, and another thing when you actually definitively pull the trigger and say it is definitely 100% possible. And I think that's where the problem lies.
I want to bring up a side note. Has anybody heard the Big Finish audio Exile, the What If series?
Yes.
Okay. In that one, we have a female Doctor, but they explain why he changed gender.
Mm-hmm.
And you remember what it was. If a Time Lord commits suicide,
right,
they swap genders. So for some reason, I brought this into the story. I'm thinking, like, how did the Master commit suicide? If that is that actually what happened? It was just food for thought, nothing else more or less to it. But I just thought of that story that the second Doctor kills himself and ends up switching genders. Like I said, it's just food for thought into this story.
I found the article. The ugly part goes, an article about a female doctor has been written for this very site. And I've written one too. And then it goes on, and it says a doctor can never ever be a woman, is what people have said. That's what the response on both sides of the article. And there has, this person's thinking, never been a coherent argument as to why, since it hasn't happened before, so blah, blah, blah. But it says the prevailing fan reasons why the Master can be a woman, but the Doctor cannot are the Master is unpredictable, the Master is crazy, the Master is evil. There is a word for that when someone describes an individual as crazy and evil for changing their gender presentation.
Justin Bieber?
Transmisogyny. And that's effectively what's happened here. So someone has gone on to the Sci-Fi Channel site, and Dan Roth wrote this article.
Well, explains Justin Bieber.
Yeah, Justin Bieber.
There you go.
There you go. I got to say, I don't think that a Time Lord has to be crazy to change the sex. I don't. Because, first of all, male, female, that's human. That's not Time Lord. Yes, we call them Time Lords and Time Lady, but that's in respect to humans, possibly. We don't know how Time Lords reproduce. They could be asexual. There could be one sex and they just look like something. And it happens to look like a human male.
I just think they're just pulling something out of their hat that's not there. I mean, they're just pushing something that really doesn't need. I mean, it's not even an issue. It's just a story, and they took it the wrong way.
It is just a story, and yet people complained that, oh no, when they get cremated, they're going to feel it in heaven. I mean, really, that was ridiculous too.
And of course, if they had stayed to the end, they would have found out it was part of a huge con. It's the age we live in where knee-jerk is a little bit more typical than actually waiting things out.
At least we know when we get to the promised land, Steve Jobs is up there.
Yeah, Steve Jobs.
I can complain about my iPhone when I get up there, and he can't do anything about it.
We finally got to find out Danny's secret. After he's dead, we find out Danny's secret. The fact that he killed a boy in Afghanistan. That was sad.
That was sad.
Yeah, and just when the kid first catches sight of Danny when they're supposed to meet up in the Nether Sphere and he just doesn't want to talk to him.
Yeah.
Given the fact that Danny's being told this is the afterlife,
right.
To have that this kid is just so scared of him, he doesn't even want to talk to him. If somebody of strong moral character like Danny Pink, if that were to happen to them, they'd be like, oh God, what's going to happen to me now? What does this mean?
Buzzkill.
Yeah, it is a buzzkill.
It was set up, but it was heavy set up. So
pretty much the last two episodes were buzzkills.
Yeah, I mean, especially this one, especially Darkwater. The dark part of it definitely earned its name.
Actually, Death in Heaven.
Now, Darkwater, really, I'm not sure why the episode was called Darkwater, because the Darkwater was just hiding the Cybermen. It was just an object that was in the episode. There was nothing to it.
I guess that they couldn't call it Cybermen pickle jars. I think they wanted, even though we had seen pictures of the Cybermen and we knew they were going to be in the finale.
The Cybermen were there.
Yeah, I think they wanted to keep the surprise a surprise. So
I think that's too bad, too. I think it's too bad that we don't get to get surprised anymore.
Yeah.
Because of the internet and them filming and people taking photos and all that stuff. It's like we don't get to get surprised anymore. Like with the end of season 2, we didn't know what was in that sphere.
See, back in the old days when the classic series was on, in the United States, we got the shows a year later, 2 years later, 5 years later, 10 years later, 12 years later. We got it very later, and Doctor Who magazine kept you right on the target with the British showing. So we knew Adric was going to... I knew Adric was going to die. That wasn't a secret. The Cybermen were going to be in Earthshock. That wasn't a secret, because we got it after England saw it. So, I mean, spoilers have always been around for classic Whovians.
Well, the thing is, though, Mark, is that it's different reading a magazine because you could miss an issue. You have to actually.
Hold on.
You have to actually go. Unless
no.
Okay, Mark.
I want to stop you there for a second. You're saying you could just skip reading the issue of the magazine if you don't want to know about it, right?
What I'm saying.
You'd have to skip several years.
Okay,
if you're on the internet, you can skip reading an article on the internet.
Right, but
it's the same thing.
Mark, no, it's not the same thing because here's the thing. Doctor Who magazine, unless you have a subscription, unless it gets mailed to your house, you could end up skipping an issue because for whatever reason you weren't able to get to the bookstore on time or the comic shop.
I had a subscription since the early 80s.
Okay,
I was getting my Doctor Who news way before, and I had everything spoiled.
But reading something in a magazine or reading something in a book, there's a little more leeway because you could end up missing an issue, missing this particular
I don't
book.
Understand that.
But Mark, that doesn't make sense. The thing is, but see this, I'm getting to that point.
No.
The thing about nowadays is that, you don't have to go to the website. You don't have to check Doctor Who TV. You don't have to check BBC Online. But Patricia actually is a great example. She was just scrolling through Facebook innocently, and a Facebook page that she was following decided to blow the surprise in big letters. Okay, it's a lot harder with the internet to miss something. For me, I embargo myself to not get episode surprises. The closest thing I do is I will check Doctor Who TV at a certain point in time on Saturday to see that they have the article up that says rate and discuss whatever episode is on, and then I know that I got to be careful with Facebook because I want to avoid spoilers.
I think the Facebook page that Trish got that message on was irresponsible because they definitely should wait until the majority of the world has had first broadcast. But what I'm saying is in the old days, first broadcast was many years before America even got a shot. I've gotten spoilers all the time, and I don't like them. I did stop reading the previews to episodes of Doctor Who in the magazine. I would skip over articles. Made a very short magazine out of it.
I think Moffat is to blame a little bit on this one, and I know this is going to sound weird.
The Cybermen pictures. Didn't the BBC release the Cybermen pictures?
Yeah,
it wasn't.
Yeah, it was. Well, not only that, but when we first started the series way back when with Eccleston, Bad Wolf was something hidden and didn't really escalate until episode 7, 8, 9, and we got Boomtown where it was mentioned a little bit more, and the fans caught on. Now with Moffat, and especially from the last two series, we have to have a story arc. We have to have something at the very beginning, and whether your take is whether this became the next day of the Doctor revealed to you or the time of the Doctor revealed to you, we have to have the story arc. It's now part of the whole chemistry and part of the formula that is now Doctor Who. And there's sometimes I just want to go, hey, Moffat, can you just rein that back in and just have a good story? Do we really need a story arc on everything? Or can you just progressively bring it up until something that's hidden away, and then maybe episode 9, 10, 11, then we get to see what it was about in its fruition and have it hidden. We had to have it plastered into us. We had the silence, we had everything coming up until this moment for this series, for the big reveal, and it kind of scary because if it doesn't bold out or people find out that it's, the master, then it just kills it for the surprise.
I know with that Facebook page, people were complaining right and left to them, why would you spoil it like that? And they're like, we put a message on our page at the beginning of the day that we were going to be posting spoilers as soon as they were available. It's like, yeah, but you know what? Not everybody got that post with the warning.
Right.
Because of the way Facebook works.
Yeah.
You don't see every post. And they're like, we've been doing this all season, posting spoilers. And it's like, I've never seen any of them. Yeah. They were posting so many spoilers in one day that my newsfeed finally decided to throw one up. And lo and behold, it was the worst one they could have put up.
Yeah.
It was a page that the admins are in the UK. Yeah. So, they posted it as soon as it was revealed.
Right.
Everyone was basically saying, you suck, and left. And that's what I did too. Any page that did that day, I unliked and unfollowed.
Well, good thing we didn't do that.
But see, this is the thing, Mark. This is the thing.
Our likes still go down anyway.
This is the thing, though, Mark. When we post something, if we think it's important enough, like for example, when our episodes go up, we pin it to the top of the page.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the first thing you see when you go to the page.
Right.
But, of course, that doesn't really help because the way Facebook's news feeds are, you could pin it to the top of the page, but it could still get buried if there are 6 different posts after that. So it's like, really to say, oh, we put something up earlier in the day, unless they bump it up. Like if they bumped it up at the beginning of the hour to make sure that it's still fresh on the news feed, it's like putting a Band-Aid on a leaking dike. It just,
True.
You're wasting your time.
We're kind of veering away from the episode. Let's try to rein it back to the episode. the water tanks, the dark water of the story, the water mausoleum, didn't look like Tomb of the Cybermen. It looked,
in a way, yeah.
It was a nice homage to it.
Yeah.
Did anyone for a split second think that the one that said something Jones, I thought it said Ianto Jones?
I thought it
like
said Ianto.
Silo.
I went back. I had to check that. I went back to check that. Yeah, I thought it said Ianto Jones too. I was like, wow, Garrett's getting around. No, it wasn't. It was. So who is Skaroska? Dr. Skaroska started 3W. Skaroska backwards is ask or ask. I don't know, but I don't know what it is forward. Who is it supposed to be? I was trying to think of an anagram for the guy who created 3W, and I couldn't figure it out.
Know.
You're looking too much into this now.
Well, but Moffat put stuff into it. I thought there was supposed to be something in it. I thought maybe it was an Easter egg. If you know out there what Skaroska is supposed to be, write to mark@markwho42.net, and we'll put it on the show in the future. If you know what the anagram or what the name was supposed to represent, if it was an Easter egg, let us know. And, all I can say now is, should I press the delete button or should I just go to a commercial? We'll be right back. Attention all Whovians! While you're waiting for the new episode of Doctor Who, start your own adventures with a book from Mark Who 42 Books. They carry unique and rare books at affordable prices. Visit amazon.com/shops/markwho42. That's amazon.com/shops/markwho42. Mark Who 42 Books. Set your imagination free into the Whoniverse.
To Cybertron.
Thank you, Soundwave. I am TFG1 Mike, and you should be listening to my very first podcast, the TFG1 Podcast. 24 episodes covering the entire U.S. run of the 1984 Transformers cartoon. Also a few supplemental episodes and an interview with Stan Bush. So check out the TFG1 Podcast. You can find it on iTunes and the web at www.geekcastradio.com. Transforming Rollout.
Hi, this is Tony Way, Alf, from the episode Deep Breath of Doctor Who, and you're listening to Mark Who 42.
And we're back on Krypton Radio with more of Mark Who 42's Whoniverse. Doctor Who Universe, that is. I'm your host, Mark Baumgarten, and with me, as always, are Trish Helm, Eduardo-m-Freyre, and Christian-basel. And we are going to discuss the final episode. Can you believe it's been 12 weeks of Capaldi already? The final episode of Series 8, Death in Heaven. And you know what? Like Danny, I'm not going to hit the delete button. Okay, where do we start? What did you think of Death in Heaven?
I've just had one word to describe my experience with Death in Heaven.
Okay.
Chinese.
No, that's a little weird. That's from out of left field.
Yeah, see, this is the thing. Watching the episode, I felt like I was eating Chinese food.
Oh, okay.
I knew that it was a lot of food, but after it was done, I was still hungry.
I don't know. I think I was telling Christian during the time before we recorded this, I told him after I saw the episode, I said, there's going to be a scene where Ed's going to pee his pants. Ed, you know what scene I'm talking about?
That explains the dark water.
There you go. Maybe, no, that's light water. But no, but seriously,
that's how long he was holding it.
Do you know what scene I'm talking about, Ed? The scene that I thought would really make you say, "Oh my giddy aunt," not just the mistress saying it.
What scene do you think?
The very end, the salute. But we'll get back to that.
No, actually, yeah, when that moment came out, I was like, that was cool.
Yeah, I love Death in Heaven. I think the second half of the Capaldi season was a masterpiece. If we had just dropped the first 4 or 5 episodes, so, maybe Deep Breath could have stayed in, possibly, let Mark Gaddis have his Sherwood. But if we got rid of some of those episodes, we would have had a kick-ass season. I love the last 5 or 6 episodes.
Again, I just found Death in Heaven. It's like once it was over, I just found myself going, there were some good moments, but there was just so much that was not covered, and it just felt incomplete. It felt like Moffat, again, while he said that this season was supposed to be a little more self-contained and a little less serial, if this is Moffat doing that,
He keeps adding ducks to the duck pond.
He does,
Exactly. We finally get the big plan, which, by the way, when I saw it was all about downloading deceased souls into Cybermen and having them rise out of the grave, the thing I thought was, I want to go to Moffat's house, I'm going to go to his library where his books are, and I'm going to take away his copy of DC's Blackest Night. I'm going to go to his DVD collection, and I'm going to take away his copy of Black Cauldron and his copy of Army of Darkness. Because it's like, oh, wow, the dead being used as an army, loved ones being used against their loved ones. Gee, where have I seen that before? Yeah, like I said, DC Comics did it in Blackest Night. Instead of Black Lanterns, it's cyber armor.
Oh, you're at Cyber Pollinata's house.
And Sanjeev was in it. I love Sanjeev, and he was Colonel Ahmed.
Yeah.
Man Scout.
Man Scout. But you know what? At least he knew that it was Captain Scarlet and not Thunderbird. At least he got the reference right, because there was a mistake made by Osgood that I was a little upset about.
She's more of a Doctor Who nerd than she is a Jerry Anderson nerd.
Yeah.
And apparently Sylvia's a good dancer.
There you go.
Who knew?
Oh.
But it was fun when Unit came back, when, Osgood comes up and that Missy and the Doctor were trying to take a selfie of him.
It was it was almost like Karen Gillan was there with John Cho. They were taking selfies with the Cybermen.
Oh.
No. Oh,
well, that might have made the series get higher ratings. Cybermen were in it.
Who's not to say that Amy's in one of those cyber suits from
She
what we
would have
know?
been. I was thinking the whole time. Amy and Rory are in there. Are they going to that cemetery again? Well, luckily they didn't.
Well, don't forget, it was supposed to be all the graveyards, so
yeah.
we probably had Amy, Rory.
Wouldn't Victoria and Clara be in there too?
Yes.
Victoria
and
Clara?
Yeah. Well, if she hadn't decayed yet. See, that's an important part. If you've got all the minds of the deceased since the beginning of when they thought there was an afterlife, most of those bodies are decayed beyond repair and could not get downloaded back from the Matrix splice. So they're wasted minds because they couldn't all take over. There may be more dead than a living on planet Earth, but the dead are not bones anymore, they're ash.
Even if, let's say, those that have decayed to the point where they're dust, you still have a pretty sizable army. I mean...
Oh, yeah. No. I agree with that. But there was a lot of wastage and...
What I thought was interesting, and I thought about it, I didn't realize it, but I thought it made an interesting story because there was speculation that one of the tombs was hers. I thought it would have been all the different Claires that died throughout time that saved the Doctor in that one place. I thought that would have made a different story. And if they had all become Cybermen.
It would have been very different.
Funny you should bring up Clara. We finally get a hint that Clara's interaction with the Doctor was a Missy plot. But to finally get the explanation for that, all this manipulation by Missy, being the woman in the shop, putting the ad out in the paper in Deep Breath. All her work was just to put the Doctor and Clara together because Clara's a control freak and the Doctor doesn't want to be controlled. So this was all a giant con because she wanted to laugh her head off at two alphas being in the same TARDIS together. That was her big plot?
That was the big plot.
That was the big plot? That's what we were building up to?
I thought the one thing we finally got was that the show is Clara Who. Because Jenna Coleman got top billing. I love that in the credits.
Her eyes came out. That was like...
Her eyes came out.
Are you kidding me?
Clara Who.
It was interesting, though, when she was talking to the Cybermen, trying to convince them she was the Doctor. She knew a lot about the Doctor.
She knew a hell of a lot about the Doctor.
Yeah, I
think she should have.
Some of that information.
How'd she know about Jenny?
Well,
Doctor doesn't talk about Jenny.
He may have actually told her. We haven't seen the Doctor talk about Jenny, but Matt Smith may have mentioned
that he's been married 4 times.
And she may have picked it up in regular conversation. Don't forget,
the master manipulator.
Don't forget that the Doctor may have said something. There may have been an untelevised adventure where the Doctor and Clara do something, and maybe the Doctor was almost married off.
Remember in Time of the Doctor, we figure out that they'd been traveling together for a few years.
Right.
And 11 is a lot more talkative.
True.
Than 12.
Okay.
So I figure at some point in those years they've been traveling, he must have told her a lot. That's what I figured.
The Cybermen did say that the information that Clara was giving was BS in the sense that it's nothing that could definitively make her the Doctor. It was trivia.
Yes.
She was just buying time to live. That's all. That they mentioned that. She confessed to that.
And then she gets saved by a Cyberman.
The Cyberman. It was Danny.
It was Danny.
So obvious.
Yeah, it was so obvious. Yeah.
Now, there was a point that confused me for half a second. In the mortuary, in the chaplet, named after Dodo, I guess, in the mortuary, when Danny Pink's Cyberman comes to life, the paper with him says known as Danny Pink. And I was going, that's kind of stupid for it to say it like that on an official document, until I remembered, oh, that's right, his real name is Rupert. So that was probably just notes that they were taking, known as Danny Pink. It probably said Rupert Pink on the actual form filled out. Did you notice that? That known as Danny Pink. Why would a document have that on it? Except, it took me a second to go, oh, I guess it makes sense.
Yeah, I didn't catch that, but...
Yeah, it may have been the document. It may have been the first draft, and then somebody took it back and said no before they make the tombstone.
Yeah,
change it because everybody calls him Danny Pink.
That's what it was. But it took me, for a minute it was like, that's stupid. Why would it say that?
What did you guys think of them making the Doctor the president of Earth?
I salute.
Solid.
No, I don't think so. I thought was kind of stupid.
How did they get everybody, all the nations of the world, to agree to make the Doctor?
UNIT probably spearheaded the idea, and Kate-Stewart just said, oh, there was a gentleman by the name of Dr. John Smith that has helped UNIT out for decades. He would be the perfect candidate to be president of Earth in this situation. He is an expert on alien encounters, blah, 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 blah.
But he's not a good candidate for president. Maybe a general, and not that he would have taken that role either.
I just love the two kick butt moments that Kate-Stewart had. First of all, they said your weapons are useless against a Cyberman. Then she grabs the Cyberhead and throws it right in front of him and said, yeah, what about that one kind of deal?
Yeah.
And then the other one where we're the only planet that can say he's on the payroll. So, he turns around and goes, how much am I getting paid?
It makes me kind of wonder, is there like a bank account somewhere that is now like overflowing with cash thanks to interest?
The Doctor's supposed to be an unpaid scientific advisor, a USA. He's not supposed to be paid. There's no money.
I don't know. I mean, they say he's on the payroll, so maybe there's a bank in London where, thanks to interest, there's like $1 billion in the name of a Dr. John Smith. Drinks are in the Doctor.
Bank of the Doctor will come on next season.
Bank account of the Doctor. I can withdraw how much at one time?
What did you guys think of the portrait of the brig on the plane?
Oh, I love that. And it made the scene that I was talking about at the beginning of this segment even more powerful. Yeah, I love the picture of Nicholas Courtney as the Brigadier on board the Bus One.
That was awesome.
I see that UNIT is still going with that.
Greyhound 1, Bus 1. It works.
Can we talk about the scene with Osgood and Missy?
Okay, my theory is that Steven Moffat sucks for doing that. My second theory is that maybe it's a Zygon. I don't know.
Yeah. We thought that too. We thought that too, because did you notice that Osgood didn't act? She acted more like the Zygon version of Osgood from The Day of the Doctor.
Yeah.
She was more assertive. She seemed different. She didn't seem like the Osgood, so that would be cool.
Bow ties are cool.
We just had Ingrid Oliver at Hurricane Who 2 weeks ago, and now she's dead? What was that? That's not right.
Asked her the question. I said, "You can't tell us too much. What can you tell us about the episode?" And I think she gave me like a smirk. I know you can't talk about too much, but what can you tell us? And
where would you like the character to go?
Yeah, exactly. Just like
birds chirping, squirrel. Okay.
How useless were those two guards guarding Missy? They should have been wearing red. And it's like, and they didn't notice. They're standing behind her. They didn't notice her fiddling with the handcuffs. They didn't move.
They were looking forward.
Yeah, but they didn't move when she moved to Osgood. I mean, come on. They didn't even get a shot off or anything. I mean, they could have been just cardboard cutouts for all the good they did.
The other thing that gets me, though, about this is, given how much of a high-level prisoner Missy is, why put her in the same room where Osgood is working? Is Bus 1 smaller than we know? Because if it's supposed to be roughly about the size of Air Force One, there should be enough room that you can stick her someplace, where she's going to be by herself and unable to do any mischief, or at least that's how we feel. But to me, I mean, the whole thing about killing Osgood, what I really did not like is they quoted Moffat from Doctor Who Extra saying the reason that Osgood got killed was to show how badass Missy is, and how you want to know how evil, how much of a threat Missy is? Oh, let's have her kill a beloved character. I got to admit, shame on Moffat for going this route, because that is just extremely lazy. Missy is commanding an army of the dead in cyber armor. We don't need her to redshirt a beloved character to know that she's a threat and to just waste a character like Osgood.
I got to disagree with you because that's the master. He doesn't, she or he does not kill discriminatory. When he or she goes after somebody, doesn't care and makes them. What?
Oh, Missy, you're so fine.
That's our end theme, by the way.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean,
oh, Missy, you're so fine. You're so fine. Yeah. Missy.
I love
that. Christian, I understand where you're going from, but I think from a creative standpoint, from the standpoint of when you're actually writing the story, I don't like it when that's done, whether it's Doctor Who or anything else. I don't like it when you pick something. I don't like it when you pick characters and redshirt them just to prove that the bad guy is a threat. It's like in Star Trek The Next Generation where, want to see how strong the alien is? Let's have him beat the crud out of Worf.
But that's all the master's about. The Delgado master, the alien master, doesn't care. And, whether it's just somebody who's just off the street who just happens to be in the Doctor's world or somebody that the Doctor really cares a little bit like Osgood. You could see that it really affected him when he saw those stomp classes on the ground. That's what he does. Well, he killed Nissa's father. He killed Nissa's father.
Yeah.
Right there in front of the daughter.
I'm not arguing you about that,
but that's the idea.
But the writers of the classic series.
Hang on a second, Ed.
Ed.
He said he was going to make it hurt, and he meant the audience, and that's the way he was going to hurt him. It was going to hurt Osgood. Was going to kill off Osgood. He wanted his audience to make sure, and he said it. It's not like it didn't come out of anywhere. He said, "I'm going to make you guys feel uncomfortable about this. Everything's going to change from what you know about Doctor Who is going to change," and it did. And it hurt.
It does go back to what I've been joking about this entire season, that people say, "Oh, Moffat keeps killing people," and I said it, and this proves it. Self-fulfilling prophecy. Moffat really didn't go on a killing spree until now.
Yeah.
He would kill people off in his episodes, but the complaints I think were exaggerated. But now Moffat's like, "Okay, this is what you think of me. This is what I'm going to do," and I disagree with that entirely.
All right, I want to bring something up that I found technobabbly hogwash. When the Doctor is explaining the Cybermen taking over the dead, he starts going how each cell of the metal that's in the cyber armor has the plans for creating other Cybermen. Since when?
I know.
Never.
I thought
ever.
The same thing.
It's metal. They are metal. They are constructed. They are built. That was completely made up right there.
And I was like, so they're zombies now, huh? One drop of zombie blood and...
Yeah. Well, I mean, they were zombies. They were coming out of the graves. I mean, it was totally zombie.
I would accept it if it were the cyber mats, because that kind of makes sense.
Yeah,
but the cyber pollination...
Yeah, that was total BS.
Martha Stewart can come out there and kill everybody with her watering can? No, that just seemed too easy.
Yeah, and that's never been...
Yeah, because what happened to the cyber conversion chambers?
Exactly.
Where you have to cut the person's head off and take the brain out.
Right. There was just something that Moffat threw in there to make his story make sense, but it hurt. It hurt I think the fans of the show.
Well, and also the fact that we bring back the Cybermen, but they're just being used as Missy's troops.
Yeah, they're not even real Cybermen.
Did the cyber controller allow her to use some Cyberman tech? It's like, we're not doing anything this weekend, so you can borrow a few.
That's a master. He's worked with the Daleks before and done some things like that. So I wouldn't put it past Missy.
In the 5 Doctors, the Master kills off a lot of Cybermen on the chessboard.
Doesn't he befriend them? Well, not befriend them, but he cooperates with them.
He uses them.
And he uses them.
Yeah.
And as the Doctor mentioned, that the Master must have had a TARDIS because he or she's been there for years.
Right.
So it's not like the Master wasn't just doing this off the cuff. No. She knew what she was doing. God, I got to get the pronouns right nowadays. Jeez.
Yeah, I don't know.
You could just say they. That's kind of a gender neutral.
Just say she. She's a she now.
Yeah, the Master's a she. Missy's a she.
But one thing I will say about Michelle Gomez, her performance as the Master was awesome. She really got the crazy. She really got the crazy.
Yeah, no, definitely
going on. Great. I'm sad to see her go.
Oh, I don't think she's gone.
Well, if you think about it, Anthony Ainley's Master was killed off in every story he was in, and then comes back and says, I escaped. So when the Cybermen shot her, maybe she teleported out.
Here's my thing. So Clara was going to kill her. She had the little device thing pointed at her.
Right.
And it's pointed at her vertically.
Uh-huh.
When the Doctor takes it from her, when he's pointing it at her, it's horizontal.
Yes.
It's not pointed the right direction. You hear like the teleportation sound before she gets shot. So either she got away or she got shot and got away. One or the other.
I saw the light come from a different direction. It looked like the cyber gun hit her from the right side of the screen.
On the second viewing, I did see the bolt come out.
Yeah.
Like I did see a bolt come out.
There was a bolt.
But did she teleport before it hit her?
Well, you know what? I hope she did because I want Gomez back.
Yeah, because 2 episodes? No.
Yeah, not to mention the fact that if you're going to pull the trigger and actually have like a gender change, to then have the master come back in a future episode and it's somebody else
as a man again,
right? It would undo the coolness of finally taking something that's been talked about and running the ball with it. There's just so much. Again, going back to what I was saying, this episode felt like Chinese. There were so many concepts that had been brought up earlier in the season that went nowhere because they weren't brought up here.
Right.
Like, where was the half-faced man during all this? Where was the girl who died into the Dalek?
That was our theory, that they were all going to come back in this episode.
Yeah, they were unused.
But technically, they did come back. They went back into the bodies of the Cybermen that were coming out of the grave. I mean, so we just didn't see them specifically. And to be honest, there was no time for
what
that,
was
and it wasn't necessary.
What about that thing that was under the bed and listen? I thought that was going to reel its head there. It's just like so many plot holes, and we still have yet ducks in the pond. What were they there for?
Not to mention also the fact that probably I think the biggest thing missing is Missy's the master,
right?
But we had no flashback to how did she get on Earth? What happened to the Sims master? If she has a TARDIS, where did she get it? I find it astonishing. See, about a year ago, when we had the lead-in to the 50th anniversary, we were surprised, very pleasantly I might add, with Night of the Doctor, where Magan came back and we had his regenerating into John Hurt. Are you telling me that John Sims is so busy that he has so much
didn't want to come back? He said he didn't want to come back. That was part of the reason that proves the master's not coming back.
Okay, but you're telling me that they couldn't find some way to film some sort of regeneration scene. You're telling me that Moffat couldn't call John Sims on the phone and go, hey, John, listen, we would really want you to come back to regenerate. Why don't you come into the studios on Saturday? We'll sneak you in. We'll have everybody who does the scene sign a confidentiality agreement, and, we'll surprise the fans. You're telling me they couldn't do that? It's just such a disappointment.
I don't think it was that big enough to bring him back, especially if he didn't want to be back.
Yeah, kind of like Colin Baker didn't want to come back, and so we had to see that terrible set-up Sylvester McCoy in the wig. At least this time they didn't do that.
And we haven't seen the Master regenerate every single time.
We haven't.
Some skips there, so...
Yeah.
And we don't know how many Masters there are, to tell you the truth. I mean, we've got Burnt Crisp Master out there. I don't know how many of those are out there, or if they're the same ones.
It's supposed to be the same one, even though it's a different actor.
But even though we haven't seen every regeneration, we saw the regeneration from Yana to the John Sims Saxon Master. I don't see why they couldn't have tried something to show how it went from Sims to Missy, even if it's just something kind of like the Eighth Doctor movie, where maybe it's a thing of energy, maybe in the shape of a person, and then when it kind of dims down, we have Missy in the John Sims tracksuit.
All right. Now, something we haven't really talked about in this segment is the Danny Pink storyline. He obviously, like I said at the beginning, did not press delete. He still had the human emotions. What did you think of the Danny Pink Cyberman?
Great makeup. Absolutely great makeup. That was the first thing. I was like, oh my god!
That was a pretty dark.
It hit home when you saw his face for the first time. It really hit home.
That was a dark moment. It's the face is kind of paled out, and also just the way his eyes and the way he was frowning, you could tell he was hurting. This definitely hurt.
He got to do his soldier officer rant again, and it really meant something. I got to tell you, when he did that speech right before he saves the day, because yes, Danny Pink saves the day. When he does that, I think members of the armed services who watched that scene must have had great emotion there, because that was really talking about doing it for the soldiers, the empowerment that went through that scene.
It was Danny not only being the soldier, but being the soldier that he wanted to be.
Yes.
The protect the innocent. His last words to Clara, "You will sleep soundly tonight."
Yeah.
It's a soldier's promise, pretty much.
The day was saved not only by Danny Pink, but we had the Brigadier. We had Cyber Brigadier.
Oh, yeah.
I have a question for Cyber Brig. After everything, and he got his salute, where the hell was he going?
I think it was just going up into the atmosphere to explode.
Going to join up with the Avengers. He's the new Iron Man.
Oh, yeah, I love that.
New ABC this fall, Cyber Brig, starring the... No, I guess you can't do it.
Yeah, we're missing an actor.
We're missing an... Well, but he's in the cyber armor, so it could be any actor.
It's true.
He doesn't talk. He just stands there and nods his head.
Cyber Brig. Does
Whatever
Cyberman does.
Fires 5 rounds. Very rapid.
Neighborhood Cyber Brig.
Great moment. Just great moment. And it actually...
And thank God Kate didn't get killed.
Yeah. No,
because 2 people getting killed would have been too much.
Yeah,
and we lost Osgood, but losing Kate too would have sucked.
I still say that Moffat should make it that was the Zygon Osgood.
Yeah.
Just bring Ingrid Oliver back and just have a scene where she shows up in the scarf and goes, "Oh, that was the Zygon. We decided to tell ourselves apart that she'd imitate another doctor."
Well, actually, wait a second. You know what? This actually, I just thought of a plot point. Definitely, it could have been Osgood, and the next time we have a unit story, the Zygon Osgood has replaced her in the role of scientific advisor. Maybe it was Osgood who died, and they're not going to trick us, but they're going to bring her back as the Zygon.
I can see
that way it's not a cheap ripoff.
Either way, just bring her back.
Well, I'd like her back, but she's dead.
What did you think of Missy giving the doctor the army?
It was all a birthday present.
Yeah.
The entire thing was all a birthday present for the doctor.
I actually thought that's typical Master.
The Master wanted to get back with his buddy, the doctor.
It also goes back to one of the themes of this season, Am I a Good Man?
Yeah.
The Master was trying to force the doctor to make the no option.
Right.
To kind of say, you're not a good man. What you want is to command people. And see, look, I'm giving you your wish.
Yeah.
But no, he's an idiot.
He's an idiot with a box and a screwdriver.
Yep.
Did you notice him kissing the Master, though?
Oh, yeah. There's a little lip lock there.
Yeah.
No tongue this time.
No tongue.
And once again, all the people on DA and the Slashfic writers are going, yes!
So can we talk about the end?
We have to talk
the
about
very end.
And we
Okay,
have to do
so
it quick. So go ahead.
When the doctor and Clara meet up, well, first off, Danny contacts her with the bracelet, says he figured out that there was enough in the bracelet for one trip for one person,
and the boy back.
He sends the boy back,
Yeah.
and that was very noble and everything like that.
Promises to keep.
But then I'm also thinking, okay, this kid died how long ago, and she wants him to get him back to his parents. His parents know he's dead. I don't know. Unless he meant to get the doctor to take him back at the same time when he would have been killed. But from then on, when she meets up with the doctor, I'm sorry, but that whole scene was like a bad romantic comedy.
It was, and I think it was meant to be. I really think it was meant to be a bad comedy. The doctor thinking that the Master is finally telling the truth, and so he's found Gallifrey, and so he's going to go to the coordinates, and Gallifrey will be there. Yes, the scene of them talking was bad romantic comedy, but the scenes when we're watching the doctor find out that the Master lied again.
Yeah, that was powerful.
That was intense.
That was powerful.
That was good. That was good Capaldi. That was some good stuff right there. I mean, you could feel it that it was hurting him so badly that he was going to try it one more time.
And the rom-com, I think, was to displace the emotions from that.
See, and I think, the doctor wanted Clara to stay with Danny and be happy again because I think he knows that she's pregnant.
Yeah.
And so basically that's why he lied to her and said that he found Gallifrey.
Right.
Because he wanted her to think that it was okay if she left because he was going to go home anyway.
I don't know if I like to hug anymore.
It's just a way to hide your face.
Just a way to hide your face.
I don't know. I mean, for me, a part of me wants Clara gone, but another part of me says to just leave it like this, like just this giant pile of lies, because
it's not going to be left like this. And you know who won't let it end like that?
Santa.
Santa Claus won't let it end like that. It was great. We had a Marvel movie moment. It was like a Marvel motion picture. We had a scene at the end after the credits.
What did he say? He said you can't leave it like that.
She's not okay and he's not okay. So we know right away that she's going to be back.
But the thing is, though, who's the she that he's talking about?
It may not be Clara the she.
Is it Clara? Or is it Missy?
Oh, that's a good point.
That's a very good point.
I'd rather it be Missy.
Me too.
Me
I would much rather it be
I would
Missy.
like the Clara story to be over, but unfortunately it won't be. But you know what is over?
The show.
The show is over. I'm sorry, folks. That's all the time we have. Join us next week when we have interviews by Christian and special correspondent Juan San Miguel as they went to Hurricane Who 2014. And we've got interviews with Ingrid Oliver, who played Osgood in this very episode we were talking about, J.K. Woodward, Doctor Who comic artist, Kai Owen from Torchwood, Terry Malloy, and Peter Davison, the Fifth Doctor himself. We've got all that for you next week, so be there. Go to our Facebook page, Mark Who 42's WHOniverse. Tweet us at Mark Who 42. And you know what you should do? You should go to markwho42.net and join the WHOniverse army. I'll tell you, it's a fun army to be part of. We've got news, we have birthday announcements, we have a whole lot of stuff on that site, and we have old episodes of our podcast. You get to listen to us on iTunes, find old episodes on iTunes. Krypton Radio, we love you. We love everyone. We love Geekcast Radio Network. We love Florida Geek Scene. Any last words, guys?
By Missy's black hand, the dead shall rise.
Bananas!
Remember all those years when you wanted to rule the world? Piece of cake.
And don't forget, Wizard World Reno. We're going to be there 2 weeks.
Until next time, so long from the WHOniverse. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bananas!
See you next week.
Thank you, Miss.
Banana. Banana? Banana.
Mark Who 42's WHOniverse has been written and presented by Mark Baumgarten, Patricia-Helm, Eduardo-m-Freyre, and Christian-basel. This show was edited, produced, and directed by Mark Baumgarten. We can be contacted by email at mark@markwho42.net. The subject line, question mark. We can be contacted by email at mark@markwho42.net. The subject line, question mark.
Mark Who 42 WHOniverse.
Doctor Who and its properties are owned by the BBC, the British Broadcasting Corporation. This show is owned and copyrighted by Mark Baumgarten, 2014. You're listening to Krypton Radio.